Christmas morning, 2024. My sister Sarah got keys to a brand new Honda Civic. I got a $15 gift card to Target. But when I scratched that lottery ticket I was planning to give them, everything changed. That ticket was worth $50,000. And my parents' perfect family of 3? About to stay exactly that way. I should probably back up and explain how we got here. 3 days before Christmas, I took time off work to help my parents get their house ready. Not because they asked, they never ask, but because that's what I do. I'm Ashley Thompson, the responsible daughter, the one who shows up, the one who makes sure everything runs smoothly so everyone else can enjoy the holidays. I spent Tuesday stringing lights around their entire front porch, untangling the mess they'd shoved in a box last January. Wednesday was tree decorating day. I drove to 3 different stores to find the perfect tree topper because the old one had broken, and Mom had mentioned it exactly once in passing. Thursday morning found me in their kitchen at 6 a.m., mixing cookie dough and prepping the green bean casserole for Christmas dinner. Their house looked like something out of a magazine by Christmas Eve. Every ornament perfectly placed, every light strand tested twice, the garland draped just right along the banister. I'd even bought those expensive Yankee candles that Mom always admired but never bought for herself. Balsam and cedar, her favorite scent that filled the whole downstairs. The presents under their tree told a story of careful thought and financial sacrifice. For Dad, a vintage 1986 Topps Roger Clemens rookie card I'd hunted down on eBay for 3 months. For Mom, the silk Hermes scarf she'd touched reverently at Nordstrom last spring before walking away because it was too much. For Sarah, the Coach handbag she'd been showing me Instagram photos of since October, dropping hints that grew less subtle by the week. Each gift wrapped with department store precision. Hospital corners on the paper, ribbons that matched the bows, handwritten tags with little inside jokes that only our family would understand. I'd spent 6 hours wrapping presents the night before, making sure everything looked perfect under their tree. And tucked in my purse was one more surprise. A $20 scratch-off lottery ticket called Holiday Jackpot. Nothing fancy, just something fun we could do together Christmas morning. A little tradition I thought we could start. The ticket had this cheerful Christmas tree design, and I figured even if we only won $5, we'd have a good laugh together. Standing in their living room that Christmas Eve night, everything twinkling and perfect, I felt something I'd been chasing my whole life, the warm, fuzzy feeling of belonging somewhere, of being part of something beautiful and meaningful. The tree cast this golden glow across the hardwood floors, and for a moment, I could almost pretend I was the daughter they'd been waiting for all along. That feeling lasted exactly 14 hours. Christmas morning started the way it always did in our house. Organized chaos with Mom directing traffic and Dad fumbling with the new coffee maker I'd given him last year. Sarah bounced around the kitchen in her Christmas pajamas, 25 years old but still acting like she was 7 when it came to presents. We had our traditional breakfast first, Mom's famous overnight French toast casserole that I'd helped assemble the night before. Then it was picture time by the tree, with Mom arranging us just so and taking approximately 47 shots to get everyone looking in the same direction. "Okay, presents," Mom announced, settling into her spot on the couch with Dad beside her. "Sarah, you go first, sweetheart." Sarah always went first. It wasn't a rule anyone had ever stated out loud, but it was as much a tradition as the French toast casserole. Sarah first, then me, then parents exchanged gifts. The order of things in our family. Dad handed her a small wrapped box, and I could see the excitement practically radiating off him. His eyes were bright, and he kept glancing at Mom like they shared some incredible secret. "This one's special, Princess," he said, already reaching for his phone to record. Sarah tore through the wrapping paper like her life depended on it, revealing a small jewelry box. But when she popped it open, instead of earrings or a necklace, there were car keys nestled in the velvet. "No freaking way," Sarah whispered, staring at the keys like they might disappear. Then she was shrieking, jumping up and down, bouncing on her toes. "Are you serious right now? Are you actually serious?" Mom was already crying those happy mom tears, the kind I'd seen in commercials but never quite experienced myself. Dad was grinning so wide I thought his face might split in half. Go look outside, baby girl." We all rushed to the front window like we were escaping a fire, and there it sat in the driveway, a brand new Honda Civic, midnight blue and gleaming in the morning sun. Someone had tied a giant red velvet bow to the hood, and it looked exactly like every car commercial I'd ever seen where the husband surprises the wife on Christmas morning. Sarah lost it completely, full body sobbing, jumping up and down, grabbing both parents in a three-way hug that lasted forever. "I can't believe you guys did this! Oh my God, it's perfect! It's absolutely perfect!" I stood there watching them, my chest doing this weird tight thing that I couldn't quite identify. Happy for my sister, obviously. She needed a car. Her 15-year-old Honda had finally died last month, and she'd been borrowing Mom's car ever since, which meant Mom had been stuck at home most days. A new car made sense. But watching them all cry and hug and celebrate, I felt like I was viewing a family moment through glass, like I was watching something beautiful happening to other people. "Ashley's turn," Mom announced after the initial excitement died down, and suddenly, 3 sets of expectant eyes turned to me. Dad reached under the tree and handed me a gift bag. Not wrapped, just a red gift bag with white tissue paper sticking out the top. The kind you buy at the grocery store checkout line when you've forgotten someone's birthday. I reached through the tissue paper and pulled out a plastic gift card. Target, $15. "We figured you don't really need much, sweetie," Mom said, giving me a quick side hug while still watching Sarah through the window as she ran her hands over every inch of her new car. "You're so independent. You've got your life together, your apartment, your job. You don't need us taking care of you." $15. I'd spent $300 on their gifts. I'd used 2 vacation days to help them prepare for Christmas. I'd been awake until 2 a.m. the night before, making sure every cookie was perfect, every bow was straight. $15. "Wow, thanks," I managed, forcing my face into what I hoped looked like gratitude. "This is really thoughtful. I can always use Target gift cards." "You can get some of those organizational containers you like," Dad added helpfully, "or maybe some of those fancy cleaning supplies. You know, for your apartment." Before I could respond, Sarah burst back through the front door, keys jingling in her hand like Christmas bells. "Did you guys see the interior? It has heated seats and a backup camera, and look at this dashboard. It's like a spaceship." What followed was 45 minutes of the Sarah show. Photos by the car, Sarah in the driver's seat making vroom vroom noises, Sarah and Mom posing by the hood, Sarah and Dad examining the engine, Sarah reading sections of the owner's manual out loud like it was poetry. I stood in their driveway holding my $15 gift card, smiling when people looked my way, and tried to calculate exactly how much money I'd spent on this Christmas. The gifts, the decorations, the gas driving back and forth, the vacation days I'd used instead of saving them for something I actually wanted to do. This wasn't new, if I'm being completely honest. This was just the most obvious it had ever been. When Sarah turned 16, she got a car, a 3-year-old Toyota Camry that Dad spent 2 full weekends washing, waxing, and detailing until it looked like it just rolled off the lot. When I turned 16, I got a congratulations and permission to borrow Mom's car when it was convenient and didn't interfere with her schedule. When Sarah graduated high school, she got a graduation party with catering and a DJ and relatives flying in from 3 states. When I graduated, we went to Olive Garden and I got a card with $50 in it. When Sarah went to college, Mom and Dad paid everything: tuition, room and board, meal plan, books, even a credit card for emergencies that somehow always had a balance on it. When I went to college 2 years later, they handed me a stack of FAFSA forms and told me I was smart enough to figure it out. Those student loans are still following me around at 32. When Sarah got married 2 years ago, Mom and Dad threw her a $30,000 wedding. Open bar, live band, flowers that cost more than my car, the works. When I got married 4 years ago, Mom looked at the wedding planning book I'd brought over and said, "Maybe we should keep this simple, honey. Intimate is more meaningful anyway." They gave me a check for $2,000 and told me they were sure I'd make it stretch. But this Christmas morning felt different. Maybe it was the sheer size of the disparity. A brand new car versus a $15 gift card. Maybe it was watching my parents document every second of Sarah's reaction while barely glancing at mine. Maybe it was the fact that I'm 32 years old and still hoping that this year might be the year they see me the way they see her. I sat in my car in their driveway for 20 minutes after the gift exchange, engine running, heat blasting, staring at that Target gift card like it might transform into something meaningful if I looked at it long enough. That's when I remembered the lottery ticket in my purse. I pulled it out, looking at the cheerful Christmas tree design and the bright red letters spelling holiday jackpot. $20 of my own money that I'd planned to share with them. A fun family tradition I'd thought we could start together, scratching it off while drinking coffee and laughing about our terrible luck. I found a quarter in my cup holder and started scratching. First symbol, Christmas tree. Okay, that's something. Second symbol, Christmas tree. 2 in a row. Interesting. Third symbol, Christmas tree. Wait. My hands started shaking. 3 matching symbols meant I'd won something. Probably $10, maybe 20 if I was really lucky. I scratched off the prize amount with the edge of my fingernail. $50,000. I stared at those numbers until my eyes went blurry. $50,000. I blinked hard and looked again. Still there. 5 and 4 zeros. I flipped the ticket over with trembling fingers and read the fine print on the back, my heart hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. 3 matching symbols wins corresponding prize amount. Prizes over $599 must be claimed at lottery office with valid photo ID within 180 days of purchase. $50,000. Real money. Life-changing money. More money than I'd ever held in my hands, more money than I made in an entire year at my job. I was still sitting there in complete shock when my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. "Drive safe, honey. Don't forget to take some cookies home. Love you." I looked at that text message, then at the lottery ticket, then back at the house where my parents were probably still taking pictures of Sarah with her Christmas present. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely dial their number. "Ashley, did you forget something?" Mom answered on the second ring, and I could hear Sarah's laughter in the background. "Mom, I need to tell you something. Remember that lottery ticket I brought for us to scratch off together?" "Oh, yes. Did you do it? How fun. Did you win anything?" Yeah, I won $50,000. Dead silence. Then, "What did you say?" $50,000, Mom. I won $50,000. "Oh my God, Bill, come here right now. Ashley won the lottery." I could hear her yelling to Dad, her voice getting further from the phone. "She won $50,000! $50,000!" Then Dad was on the line, breathing hard like he'd run from another room. "Ashley, sweetheart, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. What are the odds?" Before I could answer, he kept going. "This is such a blessing, honey. Such a blessing for all of us. You can finally pay off those student loans that have been hanging over your head. And maybe put some aside for your future. Start a real savings account." Something cold settled in my stomach. "Right, And you know," Dad continued, his voice getting more excited, "Sarah's car payment is going to be about $400 a month. If you wanted to help her out for the first few months while she gets her feet under her in her new job, that would really take the pressure off everyone." My throat felt tight. "What?" "Well, it's just a thought," Mom chimed in, and I could tell she'd grabbed the other phone. "Family helps family, right? And this money, Ashley, it's like it was meant to be. You could really help secure everyone's future with this kind of windfall." I sat there in my car, lottery ticket in one hand, phone in the other, listening to my parents plan how I should spend money I'd won 5 minutes ago. Not suggestions, not questions about what I might want to do with it. Plans. "And the insurance on a new car for someone Sarah's age," Dad was saying. "That's going to be steep. If you could help with that for the first year or so, just until she gets established." "Stop." The word came out harder than I meant it to. "Just stop talking for a second." They went quiet. "I literally just found out about this 2 minutes ago. I haven't even processed it yet." "Of course, honey," Mom said quickly. "We're just so excited for you, for all of us. This is such a blessing for the whole family." For the whole family. There it was, my lottery ticket, my $20, my dumb luck. But somehow, in the span of a 2-minute phone call, it had already become a family asset. "I have to go," I said. "I need to think about this." "Take all the time you need, sweetheart," Dad said, but I could hear the planning wheels turning in his voice. "Just remember, money like this doesn't come along every day. You'll want to be smart about it. Make it count. Make it count. Be smart about it." Code words I'd been hearing my whole life. Code 4, don't be selfish. Code 4, think about everyone else first. I hung up the phone and sat in that driveway for another 15 minutes, staring at the house I'd just spent 3 days decorating, thinking about the gifts I'd just given, holding a lottery ticket worth more money than I'd ever imagined having. That's when something clicked, a pattern I'd never let myself see clearly before. I pulled out my phone and typed 4 words into Google: scapegoat golden child syndrome. The first article that came up hit me like a physical blow. In dysfunctional family systems, the scapegoat child often becomes hyper-responsible and self-reliant, while the golden child receives preferential treatment and financial support. The scapegoat is frequently expected to sacrifice their own needs for the benefit of the golden child. I kept reading. Article after article, research papers, psychology websites, all describing my exact life with clinical precision. Differential treatment, parentification, emotional neglect disguised as independence training. The responsible child versus the favored child. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't imagining things. This was a recognized pattern. It had names and research and treatment protocols. For 32 years, I told myself that every family was different, that parents naturally had different relationships with each kid, that I was lucky to be seen as capable and independent. But sitting in that car, holding $50,000 in lottery winnings while my parents planned how I should spend it on my sister, I finally saw the truth. I wasn't independent by choice. I was independent by necessity. I wasn't strong. I was abandoned. And I was done pretending otherwise. I started my car and drove home to my 1-bedroom apartment, the apartment I'd been paying for entirely on my own since I was 23. While Sarah lived rent-free with my parents until she was 24. I sat at my kitchen table with the lottery ticket spread out in front of me and did something I'd never done before. I put myself first. $50,000 was enough money to change everything, to pay off every debt, to buy myself something beautiful for once, to build a life where I wasn't anyone's safety net or backup plan or afterthought. My parents thought I should be smart with the money. I was about to be the smartest I'd ever been. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept the lottery ticket on my nightstand, checking it every hour like the numbers might change. $50,000. The most money I'd ever had in my entire life, and my parents had already spent it in their minds, on my sister's car payments, her insurance, her future. I spent the entire night on my laptop falling down a rabbit hole that would change everything. Scapegoat child characteristics, I typed into Google at 2 a.m. The articles that came up read like someone had been following me around my entire life, taking notes. The scapegoat child often becomes the family caretaker, taking responsibility for others' emotions and problems. Check. They frequently sacrifice their own needs and desires to maintain family harmony. Double check. Parents may view the scapegoat child as more capable or naturally independent, using this as justification for providing less support. Triple check. But it was the article about golden child versus scapegoat dynamics that really broke me open. I sat there in my kitchen at 3 a.m., reading paragraph after paragraph that described my family with surgical precision. The golden child receives preferential treatment, financial support, and emotional validation, while the scapegoat child is expected to be self-sufficient and often serves as the family's emotional and financial backup system. I thought about Sarah's paid-for college versus my student loans, her $30,000 wedding versus my keep-it-simple ceremony, her brand-new car versus my $15 gift card. The scapegoat child may not recognize the dysfunction until a triggering event forces them to see the patterns clearly. My triggering event was apparently winning $50,000 and having my parents immediately assume it belonged to the family fund. I kept reading until sunrise, articles about narcissistic family systems, research papers on differential treatment of children, blog posts from adult children who'd gone no contact with their families, support forums full of people sharing stories that sounded exactly like mine. The most devastating thing? Finding out this wasn't rare. This wasn't some unique dysfunction that only happened to my family. This was common enough that psychologists had names for it, treatment protocols for it, entire therapeutic approaches dedicated to helping people recover from it. I'd spent 32 years thinking I was strong and independent, when really I'd just been trained to expect nothing and be grateful for scraps. By the time the sun came up on December 26th, I'd made a decision that would have seemed impossible 24 hours earlier. I was keeping every penny of that money, and I was using it to build a life where I came first for once. The lottery office didn't open until after New Year's, which gave me a week to plan. A week to figure out exactly how I wanted to change my life. A week to prepare for the nuclear fallout that was coming when my family realized their ATM was permanently out of order. I called in sick to work, the first time I'd used a sick day for something that wasn't actually an emergency, and spent the week creating what I started calling my freedom plan. First, I made a list of every debt I had. Student loans, $28,000. Credit card debt from covering Christmas expenses, car repairs, and various family emergencies over the years, $7,000. Total debt, $35,000. After taxes, the lottery winnings would be about $40,000. Enough to pay off every single debt I had and still have money left over. For the first time in my adult life, I would be completely debt-free. Then I started researching cars. Not practical cars, not sensible cars that would last forever and get good gas mileage. Cars I actually wanted. Cars that would make me smile when I walked out of my apartment building. I test drove a 2024 Toyota Camry on December 30th. Midnight black with tan leather interior. It even had heated seats, something I'd never had in any of the used cars I'd driven my entire life. "What's your budget?" the salesman asked. For the first time ever, I didn't have to check my bank account or calculate monthly payments or figure out how much I could afford without eating ramen for 6 months. "I can put $12,000 down in cash," I said. Saying those words out loud felt like speaking a foreign language. On January the 2nd, I drove to the lottery headquarters in downtown Boston. The building was surprisingly ordinary, just another government office with fluorescent lights and plastic chairs. But walking through those doors felt like crossing a threshold into a completely different life. The woman behind the counter was cheerful and efficient, like this happened every day. Which I supposed it did. "Congratulations," she said, examining my ticket. "50,000 is a nice win. What are you planning to do with it?" "Change my life," I said. She smiled like she'd heard that before, but she probably didn't know how literally I meant it. The check was in my hands by January 5th, $41,000 and change after taxes. I deposited it into my checking account and sat in my car in the bank parking lot, staring at my account balance on my phone. I'd never seen that many numbers in my bank account that weren't followed by a negative sign. On January 6th, I paid off my student loans. All of them. Every single penny I'd been sending Navient for the past 10 years. I called them and asked for a payoff amount, then transferred the money electronically. "Your account balance is now 0, the automated system told me. I sat at my kitchen table and cried. On January 8th, I paid off my credit cards. All of them. The one I'd used for Christmas gifts. The one I'd used when my car needed new brakes. The one I'd used when Mom asked me to help with Sarah's bridal shower expenses 2 years ago. 0 balances across the board. On January 10th, I bought my car, walked into the Toyota dealership with a cashier's check for $12,000 and drove home in a brand new Camry with that new car smell and technology I'd only seen in commercials. I parked it in my apartment complex's lot and took a selfie behind the steering wheel. Not for social media, just for me. Proof that I'd finally done something just because I wanted to. I hadn't told my parents about any of this. They'd called twice since Christmas, both times asking when I was planning to claim my winnings and whether I'd thought more about how to handle the money responsibly. On January 15th, my phone rang. "Mom. Ashley, honey, we need to talk about Sarah's car situation. The payment is due on the 20th, and we thought maybe you'd want to help her get started on the right foot. I was sitting in my new car in the parking lot of Target, where I'd just spent $40 on things I wanted instead of things I needed. Candles that smelled good, fancy soap, a throw pillow for my couch that served no practical purpose except making me happy. "Mom," I said, "I need to tell you something." "Of course, sweetheart. What is it?" "I already claimed the lottery money, and I spent it." Silence. Then, "What do you mean you spent it?" "I paid off all my debts. I bought myself a car. I put the rest in savings." "You... what?" "Ashley, we talked about this. You were supposed to be smart with that money." "I was smart with it. I eliminated all my debt and gave myself financial security." "But what about Sarah? What about helping family?" And there it was, the question I'd been dreading and preparing for simultaneously. "Mom, Sarah got a brand new car for Christmas. She got her college paid for. She got a $30,000 wedding. She's gotten help her entire life." "That's different, Ashley. Sarah needs help. She's not as capable as you are." Capable. There was that word again, the word they'd used to justify 32 years of differential treatment. "I'm not capable, Mom. I'm abandoned. There's a difference." "Ashley Marie Thompson, that is a terrible thing to say." "It's the truth. When did you last help me with anything? When did you last give me something just because you wanted to, not because it was Christmas or my birthday?" She was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was smaller. "We've always known you could take care of yourself. You never needed us the way Sarah does. I needed you exactly as much as Sarah did. I just learned early that if I showed it, I'd be disappointed. We never meant..." "Ashley, you're our daughter too." "Then act like it." I hung up the phone and sat in my new car, watching people go in and out of Target with their everyday problems and their normal families and their regular drama that didn't involve having to choose between financial security and family approval. My phone started buzzing immediately, Dad calling, then Mom again, then Sarah. I turned my phone off and drove home. The next morning, I found 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. "Dad." "Ashley, we need to talk about this situation. Family comes first." "Mom, please call us back. We can work this out." Sarah, "I can't believe you're being so selfish. I thought you cared about family." Sarah again, "Mom and Dad are really upset. Is this really worth hurting everyone?" Sarah again, "I know you're mad about Christmas, but this is ridiculous." I read through all of them twice, then deleted every single one. That afternoon, I drafted a text message that took me 3 hours to write. "I love you all, but I'm done being the family backup plan. I'm not selfish for using my own money on my own life. Sarah has received tens of thousands of dollars in help over the years. This lottery money was mine, and I used it to secure my own future. I won't be providing financial support for anyone else going forward. This boundary is non-negotiable." I sent it to the family group chat and then immediately left the group. The fallout was immediate and brutal. My phone rang constantly for 3 days. When I didn't answer, they started showing up at my apartment. First Dad, then Mom, then both of them together. I watched them through my peephole, knocking and calling my name, but I didn't open the door. On the 4th day, Sarah came. She knocked for 20 minutes, then sat in the hallway outside my door and started talking. "Ashley, I know you're in there. I know you can hear me. I don't understand why you're doing this. We're family. Family helps each other." I sat on my couch, listening to her voice through the door, thinking about all the times I'd helped her and how it had never once occurred to her to help me. "I'm sorry about Christmas, okay? Maybe the gift thing was unfair. But this lottery money... Ashley, you could change all our lives with this. You could help me get on my feet, help Mom and Dad with their retirement. Why are you being so selfish?" Selfish. There was that word. The word they used every time I did something for myself instead of for them. "I don't understand what happened to you," she continued. "You used to care about family. You used to want to help people." I did care about family. I'd cared about family for 32 years. I'd cared so much that I'd never learned to care about myself. After she left, I made a decision that would have terrified me a month earlier. I was going to live my life like I mattered. Like my happiness was just as important as Sarah's. Like my financial security was just as worthy of protection as everyone else's comfort. For the next 2 weeks, I ignored every call, every text, every email. I bought groceries without checking my bank balance first. I got my hair cut at a real salon instead of great clips. I bought clothes that fit properly instead of whatever was on clearance. Small things, normal things, things that most people took for granted. On February 1st, my cousin Jessica called. I almost didn't answer. I figured my parents had recruited her to guilt me into compliance. But Jessica and I had always been close, and I was curious what they'd told her. "Ashley," she said, "I need to tell you something. I'm proud of you." I wasn't expecting that. "What?" "I heard about the lottery money and what you did with it, and I'm proud of you for keeping it." "Really?" "Ashley, I've watched your parents treat you and Sarah differently your entire lives. We all have. It's been painful to watch, honestly. The way they expect you to just take care of everything while they hand Sarah whatever she wants." "Did they ask you to call me?" "Your mom mentioned you weren't talking to them, but no, they didn't ask me to call. I called because I wanted you to know that not everyone thinks you're wrong. Some of us have been waiting for you to stand up for yourself for years." After we hung up, I sat in my apartment that I'd been paying for entirely by myself for 9 years, and realized something important. I wasn't losing my family, I was finding myself. Over the next few weeks, other people started reaching out. My Uncle Mark, who said he'd always noticed how differently my parents treated Sarah and me. My college roommate Lisa, who reminded me of all the times I'd canceled plans because my family needed something. My coworker Jim, who said I seemed happier lately and wondered what had changed. Slowly, I started building something I'd never had before. A life where I came first. I wasn't cruel about it. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I just stopped automatically saying yes to every request, stopped treating my time and money like they belonged to everyone else, stopped pretending that my needs mattered less than other people's wants. On February 14th, Valentine's Day, I did something I'd never done before. I took myself on a date. Dinner at a nice restaurant, a movie I wanted to see, dessert at that expensive ice cream place downtown. I bought myself flowers and put them on my kitchen table. I posted a photo on Instagram of the flowers with the caption, "Happy Valentine's Day to me." 3 hours later, Sarah called, the first time I'd heard from any of them in 2 weeks. "Are you seriously celebrating being alone on Valentine's Day?" she asked without preamble. "I'm celebrating choosing myself for once," I said. "Ashley, this has gone far enough. You've made your point, but you're hurting Mom and Dad, and you're hurting me. When are you going to stop being selfish and remember that you have a family?" "I do have a family," I said. "I'm just not letting them use me anymore." "Use you? Ashley, we love you." "No, you love what I do for you. There's a difference." "That's not true." "When's the last time you called me just to see how I was doing? Not because you needed something, not because Mom told you to call. Just because you wanted to talk to your sister." Silence. "When's the last time you offered to help me with something? When's the last time you remembered my birthday without a Facebook reminder? When's the last time you treated me like someone whose feelings mattered?" More silence. "Sarah, I spent 32 years being your family's emotional support system and financial backup plan. I spent 32 years making myself smaller so you could shine brighter. I'm done." "So what? You're just never talking to us again?" "I'm talking to you right now. But I'm not going back to being the person who gives everything and gets nothing. If you want a relationship with me, it's going to be different. It's going to be equal." She hung up on me. But for the first time in my life, I didn't call back to apologize. 3 months later, I got a text from Mom. Just 4 words. "We miss you, sweetheart." I thought about it for a long time before I responded. "I miss you too, but I won't go back to the way things were." She didn't respond, but she didn't have to. I'd said what I needed to say. My new life wasn't perfect. Sometimes I felt guilty for setting boundaries. Sometimes I wondered if I was being too harsh. Sometimes I missed the illusion of being part of a close family. But I never missed the feeling of not mattering. I never missed checking my bank account and realizing I'd spent money I didn't have on people who wouldn't do the same for me. I never missed the exhaustion that came from being everyone's solution to everything. I'd learned something important. Love isn't sacrifice. Love is reciprocity. Love is seeing someone's worth and choosing to honor it. And for the first time in my life, I was choosing to honor my own worth. My parents had wanted their perfect family of 3 to stay perfect. Well, they got their wish. Their perfect family of 3 stayed exactly that. And I finally became the family of 1 I'd always deserved to be.